there we go. This is a video from Alexander Coccia. We have watched some of his videos in the past. They are cool. And he uploaded a video, Marvel Snap best decks of the week. And I want to see if I agree with this list. And let's see what happens. For me, this Silver Surfer deck is great. It's awesome. So I would like to see the Silver Surfer deck somewhere in here. Of course, he's going to talk about the Leech leader bullshit. Of course, he's going to talk about that bullshit. But let's see.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Marvel Snap Decks of the Week, the weekly series where I show you guys top 5 meta decks to help you gain rank in Marvel Snap. As always, deck codes are in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Be sure to check us out on Twitch TV and hit that like button if you'd like to support this series. It's free, and as I always joke about, it's literally all that YouTube cares about. With that being said, the meta this week has been dominated by Leech. Leech has been one of those cards that has been like really paramount in the meta for a number of reasons. It completely destroys the negative decks, which happen to be very popular. We'll talk about one later. But it also helps to nullify leader.
Bro, a lot of people have been saying that they encounter Leech a lot, but in my experience, yes, I encountered today Leech a couple of times, but it isn't like a lot of times or something that it feels oppressive or whatever. I only see him sometimes. Yes, of course, before I never saw him, so I've been seeing him, and that is something, but not as much as people let you believe or something like that, you know.
Who's another card who's been incredibly problematic. However, the first...
But the leader, yes, the leader is being played a fucking lot. People love the leader, and I fucking hate the leader. I hope that is one card that shouldn't fucking exist. Please delete the leader out of the game.
Talking about is the Leech ramp. Basically what this list is, it
they won't do that, of
utilizes
course.
the utilization of Electro. It utilizes the utilization of Electro. That was the sentence I just said. Anyways, I'm not trying to give you guys a headache, but
brother, I say worse stuff all the time. Don't worry about it.
That has recently become my favorite card in the game. Originally, I was sleeping on Electro. I've joked about this before. I'm like, Electro, it's okay, but I don't want a Sandman. And then I noticed, I'm like, you know what? This card is so good. And it took me a while to warm up to Electro, but now I'm here. You also have the synergy with Wave, so that if you don't have Electro, you can use Wave. It's basically the insurance policy of making sure you draw your primary kind of game plan on turn 3. From there, you have a couple different options. If you suspect they have some value, you can actually drop a leader on turn 4 with the Wave play, and then what you can do is if they drop something big, you match it. Moreover, you can actually out in the leader on turn 6 to match whatever they play to secure the victory. Moreover, you can also play on, if you Wave, you can play Dr. Doom, and then follow that up with Odin on turn 6. Moreover, if you play Electro, you're going to be skipping the 4 costs, and you can play a turn 4 Leech, which completely dismantles their hand. Conversely, you can play Captain Marvel, which is a great card to be playing on turn 4 with 5 energy, and then you also have the Vision, which is great as well. I tend to prefer Captain Marvel, honestly, because I'm bad at the game and I need the help, but ultimately, Vision...
Yes, I love Captain Marvel just because of that, brother. Because with Captain Marvel, you don't have to worry as much about the little small changes in power in all the lanes, because Captain Marvel just moves and solves the problem, you know. So that is cool. But I'll tell you this, brother. This deck is kind of cool. You will climb some ranks with this deck. But if you are a decent human being, don't play this bullshit deck, brother. This deck is for just, I don't know, for people that play rogue in World of Warcraft, you know, for people that are sneaky. Don't play this deck if you are a decent human being, my brother. That is all I have to say about this deck.
A great card to play as well. I do like to play, you know, on curve if possible with the Iceman, Korg, and Scorpion. I do like to have some options on turn 1 and 2. I don't like skipping those turns. For me, it feels bad. Substitution-wise, you can consider White Tiger for Dr. Doom, Professor X for Leader, and Spider-Woman or Iron Man for Captain Marvel, but of course, the rest is up to you. Regardless, I do think that this list is actually pretty damn good. It's one of the ones that I've been going to climb ranks in the current meta. The next deck I want to talk about is one of the ones that is actually one of my favorite. I've been working
that variant is awesome. That is a hot Captain Marvel. Check those apps down, brother. That is a fucking hot Captain Marvel. I believe the dude, that it is in the screen. Arjam. Yes, I saw some ad for this dude, Argem, and his ad is awesome, brother. His ad is fucking great. So Mysterio doesn't win this location. Captain Marvel should move there, right? So I will play Mysterio elsewhere. I will snap this dude because I will probably win.
Month and a half. During the beta, I had this idea of always playing pure value, and so I had these lists that I call these pure value lists. Basically, the way they work is you win the game by having more energy on your board than the opposing player. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. So why wouldn't you play cards that have a lot of energy? A lot of us tend to focus on like a lot of the combo plays, and we talk about those in like the surfer lists and the negative lists, and those are fun too. But sometimes,
bro, the Mysterio was stupid because now Captain Marvel can't move there. Bro, the Mysterio, I fucked myself over with the fucking Mysterio, dude. Now I can't fucking win this game. Of course you snap me. I'm an idiot. Of course you fucking snap me.
Up outvaluing your opponent sets up situations where you can snap confidently and have them extremely nervous about their next play. At the end of the day, energy wins games, and that's exactly what this pure value list does. Now, this is a little greedier than my usual ones because it utilizes Zero. Zero is one of those cards that honestly you can kind of go without. Zero is not completely necessary and can be replaced by someone like...
So these aren't really the best meta decks of the week, but the decks you like the most for the week. You should say that, brother.
Hawkeye, for instance, who would essentially replace Zero but also kind of impact some of the other plays as well. The reason why Zero is so effective is because he can be utilized in a conjunction with Maximus. Maximus is a momentous turn 3 play as a 3/7, but has the negative drawback of allowing your opponent to draw 2 cards. Card draw in Marvel Snap is extremely valuable. Zero completely nullifies that. More importantly, you have a turn 2 potential play with Zero and Ebony Maw. So if you don't have Zero, you might want to consider subbing out Ebony Maw and Maximus. I would suggest someone like Groot for Maximus of all people, because if you can land that Groot effect, that 3/6 is pretty big. It's a bit of a risk, but if you think you're a true gamer, then give it a shot. I mean, don't get me wrong, Groot can be a little sus at times, but still, you want to go for that sweet, sweet power.
Groot fucking
sucks.
sucks.
That's why we include people like Okoye. Okoye buffs the entire deck, which is fantastic as a turn 2 play. Most importantly, it's going to hit Chavez, which would be a 6/10, which is pretty damn significant. You also have Colossus, who gives you a lot of, synergy with like negative zone and places that would not otherwise negatively impact your hand. Colossus becomes a very straightforward high value play. The Lizard's great too, because I mean, it's very rare in the current meta, especially in pool 3, where people completely zoo you out. Even if you're against Silver Surfer decks, you can often be in a situation where Lizard still ends up being a 2/5, and that worst he's a 2/2, which feels bad if you're played against like a Brood or something. Polaris represents a lot of disruption, especially against Destroy decks. They play the Nova, they play their Bucky Barnes, you pull the Nova away while they drop their not their Killmonger, but their Carnage or something. Also a 3/5, so Polaris ends up being a very high value play. Now the next combo I really like as well. You have Rescue, who's a 4/4, who becomes a 4/9 when played on top of. Now I like the idea of playing...
I should have a snap, brother, because I knew I was going to win with the Agatha in the Sinister London, and I didn't snap, brother. And that was an easy snap because he thought he was winning, brother. Well, I got 2 cubes with my Agatha at least.
Rescue in conjunction with Captain Marvel, because theoretically one of the disadvantages of playing Rescue is that Rescue gets locked in that given specific location, and so you have to commit 2 cards on 4 and 5. However, Marvel will actually proc to 9 power on the Rescue, but also allow you to have the optionality of moving at the end of the game. So it actually gives you a lot of flexibility you might not otherwise have. Chavez obviously is a 6/10 with the Okoye play, provides you a lot of significant value. Now, Leader's fantastic in this list, because if you're in a situation where you're up significantly on the board, which you should be because you're playing
2 decks
so
in a
much
row with the fucking Leader,
plays,
brother.
Leader allows you to basically just trade effectively with the opponent.
2 decks in a row with the fucking Leader
that I've currently been playing. I absolutely love it. And if you don't have Polaris, a couple substitutes by the way, if you don't have Polaris, you can consider someone like Mr. Fantastic. If you don't have Captain Marvel, sorry, you can consider someone like Vision. Moreover, if you don't have Rescue, Jessica Jones represents a good substitution as well. This damn card has been driving people nuts. It's been absolutely insane, hasn't it? However,
now you are talking my language. Of course, Silver Surfer is a great card for the week. That I agree with, brother. That I agree with. Oh, and the leader too, of course. The leader is fucking awesome.
There's a new
But
combination.
I hate the leader, dude.
With Silver Surfer that although it has a Series 5 card in it, it's worth noting that this is an incredible deck with incredible potential. Basically, Silver Surfer really comes alive with Bast.
The thing here is that you need Bast, brother. But you could build, of course, you can build a negative Surfer deck without Bast. You can do it. Bast makes the deck better, of course, but don't shy away of building a negative Surfer deck because you don't have Bast, brother, because you can definitely do it.
Bast is one of those cards that just synergizes so beautifully with not only Silver Surfer, but specifically with Mr. Negative. Because what you're going to do is you're going to have cards in your hand that have low power. They all have low power because they want that negative buff. They want to have it inverted. But when you draw cards, it can feel absolutely terrible, and that's when Bast comes to play. You set the power of all cards to your hand to 3, whereas Mr. Negative swaps all the other ones in your deck, not impacted by Bast, which is great because then everyone's getting everything they need. It's perfect. And then you have like a 2-3 Forge, a 2-3 Adam Warlock who's going to draw like an absolute maniac. Adam Warlock's legit with Bast. An amazing card. And the incredible thing is you actually play Adam Warlock after you play the Mr. Negative, and now you're drawing the negative cards, right? And that's why you still use Psylocke. Regardless, this list has...
You guys know that I like Adam Warlock, and yes, Adam Warlock is awesome here. And one of the weaknesses of the Mr. Negative deck is the draw. Because you don't draw your flip cards, you know, your swap cards or whatever. And Adam Warlock help you do that. So that is awesome, brother.
That's so much punching power. You're actually running more 2s than usual, because usually with the Surfer list, you like to kind of really play a lot of 3s. But honestly, it's been so good. You storm a location, you throw some value in there.
Now the question I have for you guys is this one. Should the Silver Surfer work like that? That you can Silver Surfer cards that have their cost and power swapped? Or should the Silver Surfer not work like that because now they don't cost 3 power, 3 energy? I don't know. I'm just asking from a design standpoint, you know. What do you guys think about that? Should Silver Surfer work like this or shouldn't it work like this?
You brood another one, and then when you have the Silver Surfer play, you absolutely crush them. This list does not run Sarah.
Yo, Cedar, how you doing, my brother?
On turn 6, you're likely
Welcome
to play,
back, bro.
So Iron Man on 5, and hopefully it's an inverted Iron Man, but otherwise you play Mystique to actually
so
close out
yes, it should work like this. Okay.
Off with Silver Surfer, having played someone like Brood on turn 4 to actually zoo out one of the locations. There's a lot of different ways you can pilot this list. It takes a lot of practice, but it is one that is truly remarkable. Namely with the Bast, and then you have, of course, Forge into the Brood to really buff Brood up a lot. However,
I have unlocked 2 Forge variants, and they both sucks. And I don't want anything for Forge. But if you are going to give me Forge variants, at least give me that one, brother. That one was cool. Why wouldn't you give me that one?
However, it's worth, of course, Forge.
There it is. They gave me the gas station Forge. Brother,
into the Brood to really buff Brood up a lot. However, it's worth noting that like there is just so much value in this particular deck. There's a ton of added synergy between Bast, Mr. Negative, Adam Warlock, and the others, specifically with the Forge and the Brood. It is so straightforward to actually get a legitimate game plan going. With regards to substitutions, if you don't have Adam Warlock or Psylocke, you can consider someone like Angela. If you don't have Brood, I mean, Brood's almost impossible to replace, honestly. However, if you don't have Brood, you can try someone like Mr. Fantastic, who's going to help you kind of contest multiple locations, especially when you consider Storm. If you don't have Mystique, again, almost impossible to replace, but I would consider either Juggernaut.
give people something for Bast, brother.
You could consider someone like Killmonger, because realistically, taking out Bast isn't a big deal, but you might get some higher value plays on the other side. Regardless, I do think this deck is one of the absolute top tier, despite the fact that Bast happens to be a Series 5 card that might be a little harder for most people to access.
But you can do it without Bast, trust me, brother.
There is no card that people ask me about more than Patriot. Apparently, you guys always want to see updated Patriot lists, so I'm going to deliver.
The Ultron Patriot deck is awesome. I have a video for the Ultron Patriot deck, and that deck continues to be great, brother. It continues to be great.
ourselves a meta Ultron
Yeah,
feature
yes,
list.
bro.
Now, I'm
Bast
gonna be totally
is
honest with you.
super
I think that the three
powerful,
decks I
but
talked about
it is
prior to
really
this
hard
one
to
are
get. I don't
definitely
have it, of
stronger.
course.
They are also a lot more straightforward to pilot.
And it
I
is
mean,
the
negative
Ultron
one,
Patriot,
I mean,
of
that's
course.
hit and miss.
That is
But,
a great deck,
I mean,
brother.
the other ones are way easier to pilot than the Ultron Patriot list, which takes a lot of like macro considerations because you got to remember Ultron's going to
Yes,
fill
bro,
every
it is really
location
good.
with
I
the
love
drones.
that
So you
deck.
wanna
I love
maximize
that
these
deck.
drones,
It is
especially in
awesome.
conjunction with the Patriot buff, Mystique, and Onslaught. You're going to want to use Wave to get that Onslaught out on turn 4.
Bro, this dude that I'm playing against has some big balls. Because if this was the real Mysterio, he just lose this lane. And he played the Professor X there. So he doesn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? He's betting that this isn't the real Mysterio. So he has a big pair of balls. I will play, of course. I have an Agatha here. And he has an Agatha too. That's why he played the Professor X there. Bro, the mirror match with Agatha, dude. The mirror match with Agatha, brother. What is this, bro? That was cool, brother. That was cool. And he got a mission. Cool.
And then from there, again, you want to really kind of manage your board space in order to maximize the buffs. Oftentimes playing Blue Marvel, Onslaught, Mystique, and Patriot together into one lane. Now you're saying, Alex, that's too many cards for a lane. What are we talking about? Of course, that is why you sometimes have to make some sacrifice. You have to make decisions. If you want to utilize the doubling of the Onslaught buff, which that sentence barely made sense. But anyways, you know what I mean. You want to do Patriot into Mystique for the pull.
Yo, see that? Thank you very much for the sub, my dude. You are fucking awesome, brother. You are truly awesome, brother. Welcome to the pack. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. I have 6 subs already, bro. My first day with subs and I have 6. Bro, you are awesome. All of you guys, dude. You are giving me so much support. I love it, bro. It feels awesome, brother. It feels great getting subs. And not because of I want to say, not because of the money, but because someone that is starting out in this content bullshit, it is cool that people are willing to pay, brother, to support you. That is so fucking awesome, brother. That feels great, brother. That feels great.
+4 Onslaught, and then what do? You play the Blue Marvel next, but then where do you play everything else, right? Like, space
Thank you very
becomes
much.
a factor here, especially when you consider that drones come out all over the place in the location that Ultron does not play. Now, Ultron's a 6'8", which is pretty strong in and of itself, which gives you a lot of added power. It's also worth noting that if you're playing something like a Brood, Sport Space becomes a huge problem here, so you have to really get used to kind of playing around those types of situations. Now, again, this deck is good. I think it's a little less consistent than the others. However, there is a card that's worth...
Well, I haven't played the Bast negative deck, so I can say that this one is more consistent. But I will tell you, this Patriot Ultron deck is really consistent. It is a great deck, brother. This deck can climb you a lot of fucking ranks. This is one of the decks I play if I wanna climb in the rank. Right now, the deck I play if I wanna climb is the Miracle Surfer, the setup Silver Surfer deck. But this deck is the other one. The Patriot Ultron is an awesome deck, brother. You are never wrong with the Patriot Ultron deck.
Noting here that I think is really important. Let's say you don't have...
That is a cool emote, right? That is a cool emote. And I have more, but they are kind of reviewing them so that I can use them. I have some emotes for my YouTube, from my YouTube thumbnails. When one is I am Photoshop as Megamind, so I have a big head and I'm blue. Another one is myself Photoshop as the Green Goblin 2. That is a cool emote. I'm waiting for them to approve them, you know, but they are coming, brothers.
Brood and you're looking to sub it out. Now, the card that I would actually sub it out with is Magic. I feel like Magic really improves the win rate of this particular list because it helps you to make better decisions and gives you more time to set up your combo with Mystique, Patriot, Blue Marvel on.
That is true. Magic helps you to gives you more opportunities to play your combo. But if you don't have Magic and you have everything else, play the deck, brother. Don't think that you need Magic to play this deck because you don't. But if you have her, she's cool in there, of course.
slot and ultimately Ultron. So Magic is a great sub-in, but again, that's a pool 3 card that not everyone is going to have access to. So realistically, for substitutions, if you don't have Brood or Mystique, I mean, no one really does what Mystique does, but you could consider using the Thing and Cyclops. I mean, you're getting some value there because they obviously get hit by the Patriot buff, but honestly, the deck without Mystique is so much harder to play. If you don't have Debris, consider using Squirrel Girl, who I think is a good alternate card and a 1 cost, so you can play a little bit on curve. But again, space becomes a very significant factor. And finally, a deck that I actually almost like better.
If you are playing Ultron, you care about the space, brother. And you have to be really careful with where you play your Patriot plus Mystique and where you play your Ultron, because that is really important, brother.
Then using the Ultron one is one that utilizes Doctor Doom. You can utilize Doctor Doom in these lists because the actual bots themselves don't have abilities, so they get buffed by the Patriot buff as well. So there is another list here without using Ultron that uses Doctor Doom, which I actually really like as well. So it's worth considering. However,
Dr. Doom is awesome. You guys know that I like Dr. Doom.
Again, I do think the other 3 are stronger, but if you're into Patriot, it's one worth trying. For all you Pool 2 gamers out there, don't worry, I've got a great deck list for you as well. And today we're talking about the Sunspot.
I like that he includes a Pool 2 deck list in here. I love that. Should I make videos like this? I don't know. I don't really know.
Infinite list. Yeah, that's right. We're getting back to the classics with Classic Infinite. The game plan is very simple here, but guess what? There's a couple Pool 3, 4, and 5 cards that add a little bit of spice to this list that I'll talk about momentarily. But
nice,
basically,
that
this
is
is the way
cool.
it works. You're going to drop Sunspot into a location. Generally speaking, you want that location to also have armor so you can protect your boy's Sunspot. From there, you can play Ant-Man or whatever, Lizard, and just kind of close it down. But what you often want to do is play someone like Storm. Storm's going to lock down that location within the armor, and then you can follow that up with JJ, who becomes an 8, because you're not going to play there in the next turn because it's going to be flooded. Why wouldn't you? If you don't have JJ, you can play Star-Lord, because Star-Lord's going to be a 2/5 because there's almost guaranteed that your opponent's going to trade into that location trying to contest the flooded spot. If they don't, then big sad. But anyways, that's why Star-Lord's in the
I don't
list.
like a Star-Lord, but that is true.
There's a couple key things here that are so great. When you skip to turn 5, Sunspot gets the value securing that lane, and it's very hard for them to trade with the Infinite. Beware of Shang-Chi, but you know what I mean. Infinite, as a 20 power after skipping turn 5, is very hard to contend with and usually secures that second lane. A couple cards to consider for upgrading in Pool 3. First one is going to be She-Hulk. She-Hulk provides you with a lot of interesting synergy because as the Sunspot and Infinite, when you actually skip turns and mana is unspent, the She-Hulk provides you with more value, which is great. Now, She-Hulk is usually played in conjunction in lists like this with Magic, because Magic's going to extend the game and give you more opportunities to kind of conserve your energy and play that She-Hulk and Infinite in combination in one turn. So basically, if you're looking for upgrades for this list, Magic and She-Hulk are the 2 ones for Pool 3, 4, and 5 respectively. But of course, as you start to unlock cards, you'll find some ingenuity in order to unlock some new mechanics within these deck lists. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video.
Now, my question is this Pool 2 deck better than the Collector Devil Dino deck? Because I like the Sunspot Infinite combo, of course I like it, and I love a Storm, but the Devil Dino Collector deck is fucking awesome. It can push a lot of fucking power. So the first 2 decks have the leader bullshit, and the first one is the Leech leader. I know those decks are powerful, but I hate the fucking leader. And if you play the Leech leader, brother, if you are a decent human being, don't play that one. Then we have the Negative Surfer. I completely agree with that deck. That deck is fucking awesome. Then we have the Patriot Ultron. I completely agree with that deck. That is one of my favorite decks right now. It is awesome. I love that deck. It is fun. It is cool concept. And it is really strong and consistent. I love that deck. And this last one, I like too, because the Sunspot plus Infinite is one of my favorite combos. But I believe the Devil Dino Collector might be stronger. That is my take right here. And thank you, Alexander. This was a cool video. I love it. I love that you include swaps for cards. That is something I try to do too in my deck highlight videos. And you included a Pool 2 deck. That was cool too. So thank you very much, brother. If you are still here, thank you very much. You are awesome. I hope you enjoyed the game that you just watched. And if you did, please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to the channel. That will help me out a lot. Remember that I stream live on Twitch. I'm streaming Monday through Friday, starting at 1 p.m. EST. You can catch me there and hang out with me and play some games. And you can also follow me on Twitter. I post there when I'm live and when I post a new video. I will leave both links down in the description. Thank you very much for being here. You are awesome. And remember, as the great Bill Hicks said, this is just a ride.